we're going to do a fast episode. Hey, welcome to Home Buyer Seminar. I'm Bill Gross at Bill Gross Probate Social Media, along with my good friend and colleague.
And your work wife, Patricia Castillo.
No, my work girlfriend, actually. Yeah, because we get along too well. If we argue a lot, he's my work wife, and we get along too well. And then our friend, our mutual friend,
Shannon the lender, work single.
recently married and father of a delicious little daughter, right?
Yes.
And her name is
Soraya.
Soraya. There you go. Yeah. Welcome to Home Buyer Seminar. Get together. We can talk about either your first house or your next house. And here's a debate. Let's just throw the topic out there. We're now in a buyer's market. True or false? Patricia, go.
It depends. Depends on the neighborhood. The market will change, not just by county or by state, but literally by neighborhood. Today I was working on a counter offer for one of my clients. We offered on a property in Artesia last week. This day last week, so literally a week ago. They had an open house this weekend. The listing agent said, we're not going to review offers until Wednesday, yesterday. So today I received the counter offer and I asked her, how many offers do you have? She said it was 4 total. So that just goes to show you certain neighborhoods are still in high demand, like Lakewood, Downey, Artesia. These neighborhoods are in high demand. People want to live here and buyers will still bid. We, in fact, upped our price too, not by much, but we did get a small concession for the buyer's closing costs. And so we upped our price by $6,000. Not a huge amount, but just to show you, it's still somewhat of a competitive market for a property to get 4 offers, 4 solid offers. I don't know if there were any other offers that were probably not even worth countering, because there's always going to be those lowball offers that come in too. So these are let's say the top 4 offers that were worthy of receiving a counter offer. So we're in the top 4. But yes, certain areas are seeing a lag. There's slowness and more listings coming on the market, like in the desert, in the high desert. I have a listing in Cathedral City, and I've watched the market closely out there because I have a listing out there. And so when I have this conversation with my seller, I give them a market update and let them know what's come on the market, what prices have reduced, and what new listings are coming on the market, and at what price those listings are coming on the market. So last week there was a new listing on the same street, which was a little higher. Yesterday there was a listing that was canceled, and I've seen listings withdrawn. So when they're withdrawn, they may be going back on the market in maybe a couple of months, right? When they're canceled, that means completely canceled, off the market, seller decided not to sell. And when that happens, it could be for a number of reasons. Possibly the sellers cannot go any lower on the price, even if that's where the market is trending in that neighborhood. So if the seller cannot drop the price any further, at that point, it's either take it off the market if they can afford to keep the home, maybe rent it. Otherwise, it could turn into a short sale. And that's a longer process, more difficult, more stressful for the clients as well. So if they could hold on to the property a little bit longer, they may decide to sell next spring. This is a good example. I showed a property to one of my clients earlier this year. They were looking in Burbank, and I was following the home, and as far as the activity on it, so they had 2 price reductions. The last one stayed at $1.6 million. It was up in the Burbank Hills, really nice property. I looked at it today. We didn't end up writing on that property, obviously, but I'm still tracking the market activity because I want to see where the listing's headed. So today the property is for rent, $7,000 a month. So that means that the seller chose not to drop the price anymore, and they decided to rent it and take it off the market as a sale, but now they're renting it.
Did I miss it? What was the list price?
It was about $1.6 million.
So rather than sell for $1.5 million, maybe they're renting it for $7,000 a month, $84,000 a year. That's, I mean, normally, I'm sorry?
That's probably what your mortgage is going to be. Granted, you didn't put 20-30% down. If you 3 to 5%.
Normally, that wouldn't be a good ratio for an investor, right? Because normally you want it to cover the cash flow. There's a general rule of thumb, which doesn't exist anymore, 1% of the purchase price, which should be if you got $15,000 a month at 1.5 million. At 7,000, it's less than half of that number. But that rule has been kind of out for a long time. The bank on the property being worth more, and then there have to be taxes. That's the other part of it.
This is a property here. So this is a real life example.
Nice area.
Nice area. This is a property I showed my client. At that time, they were looking specifically in Burbank, and they wanted to live in a more, secluded area. So they were, I'm going to go through the pictures here. So look at this picture. Beautiful.
Wow.
Right?
Beautiful.
Wow.
And nice modern home.
That's almost as nice as your fake background. Zoom calls.
Hey. So this beautiful property did not sell. And if buyers right now, they're very picky. So if there's something that is not really sitting well with them, they're going to hold out and either wait or look for another property that does offer what they want. And the sellers are also holding out. So if the seller's not getting their price, that makes sense for them, because look at this home. They've taken very good care of it. You can see the pride of ownership.
So you saw the property. Are those real photos or are those stage photos? Virtual staging photos?
No, these are real photos. Yeah.
Wow. It's a great area. I know the area real well.
So that's just to give you an idea. So now this home is for rent for $7,000 a month because the seller decided not to lower the price anymore.
Wow.
So you'll see that listings will cancel after maybe 3 or 4 months. Typical listing contract is 6 months. But if after 3 months they're not getting any traction, the sellers start to get frustrated and they may withdraw their home from the market for the time being. Maybe revisit next spring.
Okay, so the answer to your question is the buyer seller's market depends on where you are, varies by neighborhood. Okay, Shannon, your answer?
I think it's a buyer's market just because, at least on the financing side, I'm not seeing a lot of price reductions, but I'm seeing a ton of seller credits. So sellers crediting the buyer. They're probably not changing the price, but they're giving them 5, 10. I'm seeing as high as 15,000 in credits to fix everything, to do what they need to do. So, and I'm even seeing some offers baked in already a credit. So they'll, again, because I have to read the contracts once I'm submitting the loan. So now I'm seeing, I had 2 of them already had baked in a 5K credit, just start of escrow. They need 5K. So, that, again, prices aren't dropping, but these sellers are being extremely more flexible and more cooperative with buyers, helping them out with closing costs, helping them out fixing the property than I've seen.
I'm seeing that too. I do see more concessions being offered by the sellers, and it's easier to get the concessions right now.
Yeah.
But like Bill, you were talking about your listing. It's a smaller price listing, but it also has to make sense for your client, right? In order for them to.
Well, you might think it's going to sell, but here's the thing: they're comparable houses. One had been in the market for 309 days. It had been in the market for 90 days at the last price cut. And it was, I showed the seller, it's a little bigger and nicer than his property, but he wants more because he needs more. Well,
right.
and now in this case, and different agents have different strategies. Mine is the customer. As long as I believe they really need to sell the property, I'll list it. And so I said to him, I'll list it at your price. As long as we agree that I'm telling you that I believe it's high, but let's try for 30 days. I'm not always right, and we'll work hard and try to get you the price. But if it doesn't, we have to agree to cut the price because I need, because you need to sell the property. He goes, yeah, I need to sell the property. Okay, well then we'll list it at I forget what we agreed on, 249 or something, and so we'll see what happens. But I think the reality is, so I would say it's neither buyer or seller's market. I think what's happened is the market is squeezed on both sides. rates jumped up a lot on the buyer side, though they've eased a little bit. And on the seller side, taxes are higher. I think that inflation has eaten into some of the equity. So you might think, well, I made $500,000, but $500,000 now is not what $500,000 was 3 years ago, right? Because everything went up in price. And so I think that it's just a little squeeze going on. Some markets are bad. Like in downtown LA is bad. Though, just this last week, we've got a bunch of inquiries on leases in downtown LA. So I would just say that the market is volatile, and you pay attention where it is. You can't get more than the market's going to price. I think the price adjusted, and some sellers don't want to accept that it stopped rising. And sellers who understand that are selling the property. And those who think, well, it was, last year was 800,000, so I want 825. That's just not how it works anymore. If you got 800, maybe you'll get 805, but it's not an 825 market. So again, I think it's a very mixed market, like Patricia says. But I also think that the market's really squeezed on both ends. And as a result, because I don't see prices dropping, I see prices the same as a year ago. And that's a new phenomenon over the last 5 years. Every other year, prices automatically went up all the time.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, I know we had a little bit of time constraint here, Patricia. So where are we at time-wise? You have a few minutes, or are we going to wrap up?
So, yeah, we can wrap up.
Okay. So to give us some excitement this weekend, you have any open houses, new listings, if someone to see you this week or get a hold of you, we're going to catch up with you.
Yeah, give me a call on my cell phone, 323-365-9909.
Uh-huh. Fantastic. And Shannon?
Yes, you can reach out to me with my phone number, 661-317-8484, or my Instagram, FUND with Shannon.
Fantastic. I'm Bill Gross, at Bill Gross Probate on social media. Appreciate you guys' support. If you have questions, put it in the comments, like it, subscribe, whatever can help. Reach out to me if I can help in any way. As always, make today your best ever. It's been a busy week for me. Took a new listing, putting something in escrow. Let's help you get your house or let you sell something. Okay, thanks, guys.